Hello and welcome to the Overton Audios podcast. My name is Connor Chadwick. Coming up on today's podcast, we have a discussion with Oliver Alexander on Torchwood World at War, which is coming out this month. And then I have a chat with John N. Harper on Time Traveller 2017. Now you may notice that there's a distinct lack of Daniel this month. Well, unfortunately and very sadly, Daniel suffered a loss in the family very recently and has not been able to be free to record for this month's podcast. So for this month, I have found a special guest podcast in the form of John N. Harper.
Hello there.
How are you, John?
I'm great. How are you? It's great. I've never co-hosted one of these before. It's quite cool, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It is very sad about Dan though. Like honestly,
it's all been very sudden, hasn't it?
Yeah, it sort of just happened. Like you called me up, and I basically just gotten up, and I just like looked at my phone. It's like a lot of missed messages, like "Hello," and I was just sort of like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Okay.
And as a result of this change, we've switched some segments around that were meant for the next podcast after this current one. For example, you and I are going to be talking about Time Traveller 2017, but that's not actually due out this coming month. It's due out the next month. But seeing as you're here, we might as well talk about it. And we had planned to talk about the Uncharted Past finale, which of course is happening at the end of April. But we're going to move that to the next podcast as well when Dan and Anya are obviously
free.
They're obviously free and obviously hopefully feeling better as well. But so what have you been up to, John? Have you been up to much?
Oh, what have I been up to? I recently finished the BFI Academy 20 to 21. It was an ordeal, we'll say that.
The context, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was an ordeal. The many hairs on my head were lost. And well, honestly, I'm glad it's over, and now I can work on other things. Like I've been, just last night, I was writing a script for a new audio series that I hope to come out in September. It's only a 2-part miniseries, but I do hope it comes to something because it's got a lot of American cast, and I've never done it's not full American cast, but like I've never done something that's got a majority of the cast as American actors, and
you've always worked with actors who you know.
Yeah, I've always worked with. Well, I've worked with you. I've worked with Ross Wilson, and loads of other people, who have actually been a part of Overton Audios as a whole. But I've never really, there isn't much be much chance of what I've been writing for American people to be part of it, because I know a lot of American people. Like, I put something on my story, and loads of people messaged me, and I got very surprised on the amount of American people who are willing to play characters. I found that just fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I suppose it's like in the same way that if you go on the casting websites like Mandy Actors, or which used to be Casting Call Pro, or you go on Star now and you look, there are a lot of people out there who just, especially in these times, want work, or just want or just want something to do. And obviously, what I suppose what also helps is definitely the premise of the project as well, which, from what you've told me about what it is very interesting, and the time and place it's all set in. Yeah, something very unique, because you with you at Dark Design Dramas, you make a lot of Victorian, very period audios
period-based
that sort of dip into the horror genre that's supernatural, whereas this one is very different. It's more, I mean, it's not, when I say contemporary, it's not set in the present day, but it's much more contemporary than anything you've done before.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, you've got the first original thing I ever did was Sheldon, but the thing is that's technically meant to be set in 2007 because of the timelines, but it doesn't explicitly mention that. This series is set in 1999. It's imagine Heroes, imagine Supers, but imagine we're telling the story from the perspective of people who don't have abilities, because we always follow the hero's journey and we feel so sorry for them. But what if we took a spin on that and actually told the story from our perspective? So we follow these FBI agents who are tracking these people down, who are experiments from people. They were experimented one. They were very, very young, from when they were like 5 or 6, back in the late 70s. It's based off an idea that I couldn't make a few years ago, simply just because I couldn't make it. And that was set in the late 70s, and it was going to be people who had been experimented on. But I've taken that and I've just molded it into this, because I thought, oh, well, I've always wanted to write about superpowers without it being so explicit in that, oh, look, superheroes, because they aren't. They are gifted. Like there's a character who has the ability to control electromagnetic waves. There's another character who has the power to control radio waves, so they can talk to radios, and so on and so on. And it's things like that these characters have, but we don't follow those characters. We follow the FBI agents, the people in charge. Some of them aren't really the nicest of people. Some of them are quite prejudiced, but let's say they don't know how close these people with powers are, So, exactly. It's very interesting. I hope something good comes of it.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. On the flip side, since the last podcast, I've kept up my productivity with audios. I've been editing more of. In fact, I finished editing the last couple of days 2 audio dramas set for November, and also we finished. I think we finished Mastermind, and I'm now trying to push to get more of the 2022 releases, because I still haven't started working on the releases for next year. Even though I should theoretically have tons of time to do it, I'm fully aware that
life gets in the way.
Life gets in the way. And as well as that, some of the releases that we had to do for this year, things keep getting added to them. So, like, for example, not getting too spoilery here, we'll announce it at some point. Whether or not it happens is completely up in the air. But Dan recently spoke about doing another Halloween special for the Irish Doctor. But of course, I'm just thinking, I've got enough in this year now.
I've got enough for this right now, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that's part of the problem is last year, 2020's releases, as you know, were just bloody packed. And then
there was something coming out every single other week. Like I was still
midweek. It was every midweek. It was every 3 days something came out. And then as a result, 2021, I tried to stick to weekly, and then some occasional volumes that came out all in one day. But now with the things that are being added to 2021, it might as well be back to 2020. And then 2022 schedules that I've planned is very core. Everything is weekly, because I think at the end of the day, whilst I really enjoy making things and having things coming out frequently, I've learned very much that there's a lot of things that basically, if you go away for a week and come back, you'll find 3 audio dramas from me, and they're like, whoa. And not everyone's constantly watching my channel. Obviously, it's appreciated the amount of work that I do, but also simultaneously, it's a lot to catch up on that I do, and I'm a single man. I'm a single man making these. And I have
I mean, I have the similar experience. Like, you make a lot more, but like for me, like I used to keep very, very close to schedules, but now I find schedules to be debilitating, so I don't really use them anymore. I just have a set
I remember
plan.
You had stuff planned until the middle of 2023, and then you were like,
Yeah, because the thing is, I intended to have a Doctor Who audio series run all the way till 2023, because my original plan was to have Dark Legend season 1 and 2 through 2018 and 19, and then a break in 2020. Then from 2021 to 2023 there would be another 3 series. That was my original plan, but ever since like mid 2020, I realized I don't really want to make that much Doctor Who anymore. I mean, I've spoken to you, Connor, about doing more Torchwood Death Shadow just to finish that storyline off. But I don't know, because the thing is, at the moment, like I've got Limbo coming out hopefully by July, and then in September it's that 2-part audio miniseries, and then hopefully another audio series, but can't really make any promises. Like this year there won't be that much compared to previous years. I think
that's almost I've learned over time, whilst I'm not stopping as much as you have, which of course is no bad thing. I think recently we've put quantity, not quantity over quality, but we've believed and said to ourselves that doing a lot means that it's a good thing, which isn't always that way, because over time your quality will suffer. Like I'm still struggling to write things, so as a result, I know that if I don't really concentrate, I'll end up writing something that may not be the best it could be, but for the sake of completing a schedule, I'll accept.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily
like,
happened yet, but
yeah, I mean, I've had similar occurrences of that for like Stories of the Condemned. When I was writing that, I originally wrote those scripts back in 2019, so you can imagine how much of a hell it was rewriting those, because I wrote those because it was about a pandemic, and I was like,
then there was one.
Yeah, and that was an actual pandemic, and I was like, oh, for God's sake! So I had to rewrite the scripts, and that was a massive slog, because then I had, because that was going to come out in mid 2020, but then ended up being delayed for August and then September, and it just kept on getting more delayed because I was still working on it, and I was also going through college. I also had a job. It was mad. I don't have a job anymore though, so that's great. Being like
hooray for more audio.
Yeah,
you mentioned Torchwood's Death Shadow, so I think that's a better segue than anything to go into this segment where I talk to Oliver Silcock about Torchwood World at War, which the trailer is going to be out on the 10th of April. But for you lovely people, here's the trailer now. Overton Audios presents.
He's alive! Doctor, help me!
What year do you think it should be?
2025. Why? What year is it?
Lock down the base, General. We don't know what he is or what he's capable of.
You can put your guns down now, lads, yeah? Yeah, quick as you like.
War's taken a lot from us. I was on the waves with my crewmates, not in London.
You promised to send me home.
You can't, can you?
Torchwood World at War. Coming the 17th of April 2021 at 12 p.m. And welcome back, and I'm here with Oliver Alexander.
Hello. Hi there.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright, just a little bit, it's a bit hot today. We're actually, I'm sure you can hear in the background noise, Connor and I aren't doing this over Skype. We are together, having just finished work, because we work for the same company, and we're just walking back to the train station at the moment. It's very hot, we're a little bit short-staffed at work, but here we are, happy days.
Quite, and also I was thinking it'd be nice for once to have an outside element to the podcast.
Yeah.
Because obviously since we started it on the month of, about 2 weeks after the first lockdown came into place, and this lockdown coming up to a year after it.
Yes.
And this podcast, the one we're recording for now, will be coming out on its year anniversary.
Really?
Of the first one, yes. So I thought it seemed a bit apt to have a little bit of an outside sort of element.
Isn't that on your birthday?
Yes, it will be coming out on my birthday.
Oh, happy 20-something-year-old Chadders. We won't tell.
Yeah, and contrary to everyone's beliefs, I am in my 20s.
Not his 40s.
Oh, thanks. So, anyway, Torchwood.
Yes.
We've made a trilogy.
We have.
The first one is out on the trailer's out on the 10th. I believe the full thing is out on the 17th.
Oh, nice.
And that's the World at War.
Lovely, yes, which is set in the aftermath of World War One.
No.
Oh, before? No.
No. Well, literally, it's just started.
Just started, sorry.
I shouldn't let you take the reins on this,
I
should
know.
I? 1914. It's December 1914.
Yes, World War One is happening.
Yes, it's kind of like a soft soft sequel to Outside the Government Beyond the Peelers.
Which was Doctor Who Resurrection Season 4, Episode 5, if I'm correct.
Yes, it was. And you have characters there like General Hathaway and Johnny, who also appear in this.
Yes.
But a number one key thing is that, Ollie, your character, Matt Vowles, who's also in Resurrection, is in it.
Yes, but I thought Matt was dead.
And, as well as that, isn't he from the 21st century?
He is. What's he doing suddenly alive in 1914 after being killed in, 2025?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, technically the year 5 billion in the Lonely Forest.
Well, yes, but you know.
Yeah, they're in the middle of an adventure when he died. But
yes.
So
How odd.
In-
How peculiar.
well, I'm trying to answer it. He's trying to essentially he was killed with the knife from Veritas, and now he's been
killed.
Now he's not killed. Yeah,
No, I'm not. Don't want you saying what's happening.
All right. Well, now he's not, and he's
No,
somehow
he's
back
not
in
killed.
town.
He's
But
in 1914.
the trilogy is nicknamed the Knife Trilogy.
Yes.
Because
Hint.
the knife that killed Matt and
present.
Matt himself are present in the remaining are present in all three.
That is a big hint. Yes.
Good.
I don't want to give too much away.
No,
I mean,
in that case, let's just talk about Matt as a character then.
Okay, sure. I think I enjoyed playing him more in Torchwood. I think he sort of, to me, when I first started playing the character, he was very much a sort of, secondary character who at first wasn't really given too much thought, and then later on became sort of 50-50 helpful, 50-50 comic relief, but still quite secondary.
Yeah.
And he only really came into his own fully in, I'd probably argue, the episode he died in.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He was initially just Roxy's boyfriend, like a Mickey-like character.
Yeah.
But then as time went on and Roxy pulled away,
Matt
there goes
came
our
more-
train.
Oh, good. Matt came more to the forefront.
Yeah, because Roxy pulled away and didn't want to be involved as much. So it was actually quite an interesting dynamic to have a companion pull away,
Yeah.
but the boyfriend of the companion be more involved.
Yes.
Whilst also obviously Matt, whilst he got more involved, Roxy was still there.
Yes.
Which is interesting. We're next to a waterfall now.
We are, yes.
Ah.
And I think, but yeah, no, him being in these Torchwood trilogy,
It gives him his own story because he's not foreshadowed. He's not overshadowed by the fact that he's just a boyfriend to the companion. He becomes his own person.
yes.
Because effectively, it is him by himself. Roxy's not there.
No. Do you reckon we could say perhaps the titles of the last two?
Yeah, why not? So obviously we know the first one.
Nothing else to give away, of
No,
course.
the first one is called World at War, which is coming out this month, April. Mm-hmm. Then in August, we have Retrospective.
Very nice.
And then in December, so it's a special every 4 months leading up to the end of the year. Then in December, third and final one called Decades and Decades.
Ooh, magnificent.
Yeah, it's quite exciting.
Yes, but
Oh, the restaurant's open again now.
Oh, really? That's what I suppose outside. But I thought sorry, we're walking past a restaurant, but it's got outside seating. But I did think that.
Yeah, but everyone's packed together in there.
I was going to say I didn't think outside seating was allowed until the 12th of April, according to the government guidelines.
Yeah, 12th of April was. Yeah. And here we are on the 22nd of March.
Yes.
Which is still 7 days before the rule of 6 comes in.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
anyway, back to Torchwood. I've definitely enjoyed doing these 3 volumes.
Yeah.
And I think they, it's nice to have
3 volumes.
Yeah, the 3 volumes. No, 3 volumes. Sorry, 3 episodes rather.
Yeah.
Sorry, not volumes.
I was something like, what volumes are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. I've definitely enjoyed doing the 3 episodes, and it's kind of nice to, we have some surprises that we can't really talk about. We have characters old and new pop up. Some unexpected, some potentially hoped for, but we shall see where that goes.
Yeah.
And as well as that, we get more connections to the wider DW 2012 universe. Can't really say much more than that, obviously.
Yeah.
But that we do have impacts from that sort of section of stuff. And I'd probably say what is nice is it's nice to have Overton Audios doing some Torchwood stuff, because it really sort of adds a difference. I know obviously Torchwood was first and foremost and is a Doctor Who spin-off, but it very much adds something to the Overton Audios universe side of the DW 2012 universe, and helps bring more things together. And I think people are going to really enjoy these stories. They're very different from each other, but all collectively work together, and I think that's great.
Very well said, sir. anything else you wish to add? Because obviously we'll probably talk again later this year about the second special.
Yes.
But we'll be able to do it in more detail with the context, no?
Just enjoy the World War One stuff, you know? And I don't really know what to say without giving anything away. It's very hard.
And welcome back to the podcast. What was that noise?
I dropped my spoon. Sorry, say that again.
Okay, well, anyway, hello everyone. Welcome back. That segment was very short. Myself and Ollie were walking back from work at that time, and we thought the walk would be longer, much, much longer, and we were wrong. So, welcome back very quickly. Now we're doing a little comments reading segment. The two audio dramas that we'll be reading from are the On the Scene original audio drama, the crime drama I've been mentioning since probably this podcast began, and the first bits of Time Traveller Earth Corp, which is still currently being released as of this recording. So we'll start off with On the Scene. Got a comment here from Michael Cox saying, a harrowing tale of deception and murder brought vividly to life by the excellent performances from all cast members. A really convincing soundscape that puts one instantly in the midst of the action. While I really like that comment, it's not that I dislike it by any means. I like the specific thing about when he says...
Oh, so ungrateful, Connor. So ungrateful for your praise.
No. But you have to remember that I edited this deaf.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? You had something wrong with your ear.
Both my ears got blocked. So this one was the one I was most worried about. But saying that it's a really convincing soundscape, and I'm there going, I was deaf when I made it.
Yeah, I was deaf when I made it. I couldn't hear.
Yeah, that's why I point that one out there. It's just because this one, I know that there was some issues that I was trying to tweak, but I didn't know if I was ever going to get my hearing back again. So
I played Darren Kelly, right? Yeah, right.
Darren Kelly. Yeah. In fact, there's a comment here from you.
I commented.
Yes, you did. You said, now this is delish.
I love doing that. I always do that. Just comment on random people's stuff and just go, delicious.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Quite like Tom Baker. That's an inside joke. Right. Okay. Do you want to read the comments for Earth Corp, John?
Yes. Curry sauce. Okay. Here's a Here's a comment from Michael Cox on Time Traveller Earth Corp Volume 1's trailer. Time Traveller has been a consistently strong series, so I have no doubt that Earth Corp will be an equally strong addition. That was on the trailer for Time Traveller Earth Corp, and here we have another comment by Michael Cox.
This is the Michael Cox comments reading section.
Yeah, we might as well just go to him, personally, just ask him for a review.
Yeah.
This is episode 1. I love Time Traveller. It has a very different feel to your other productions, but it shares with them a strong interest in the interpersonal relationships of the principal characters. I appreciate that stories can be either character-driven or plot-driven. However, I much prefer the former to the latter. That's where I think the greatest drama is to be found. How the story events shape the characters and how their relationships with each other grow stronger or deteriorate. So keep up the good work. And I couldn't agree more, Chadders. I couldn't agree more.
Is that as in, that you've just said that.
I've just said that last bit. I couldn't agree more with.
Yeah, but you kept the same reading voice. So I was like, wait, what? Yeah,
I just sort of become Michael Cox.
Yeah, because that's something another comment I quite like as well is just Time Traveller is about time travelers, but yet we never...
quite literally. It's very self-explanatory.
Yeah, but we never really go into... the plot is the plot. You've probably seen it 1,000 times, these plots before, but what's different about it is characters and their reactions. And with this specific volume that Michael's referring to, this is the volume where we kind of go into an alternate timeline. It's basically the whole plot of Time Traveller is, a group of people from the far future go back in time to stop an event that causes everything that goes to fall into motion. This is what that original timeline was, but it's actually connected to this aberrant timeline that we see that unfolds through Time Travel, the volume Time Traveler 2016, and is then further developed on in Time Traveler 2017. Which then brings me to the question, John.
No.
Shall we talk about it?
We should.
Here's the trailer.
Overton Audios presents.
If we don't stop quantum technologies today, half of the world's population will die.
I did what I had to. I loved her too.
You loved her! Who the hell do you think you are?
Jason, you said that you knew me from another world.
As far as I know, you're still out there fighting Foreign Corp.
The experiments that Eleanor told me about.
She was never real.
How can you say that?
Everything changed 2 years ago.
Exactly. Something's gone very wrong.
Time Traveler 2017, coming the 22nd of May 2021 at 12 p.m.
I went back in time to stop this. But it keeps happening. Always happening.
So I hope you enjoyed the trailer. And John, your character is, well, in Time Traveler 2016, he was the main character of that volume. That was the volume, you know, where Andrew Pierce is doing the heist.
Yeah.
In Thorncorp. Well, no, it's not Thorncorp anymore. It's Quantum Technologies. Whereas this volume is, it's like the aftermath of the heist. It's the year after those events. And you're still trying to, you and your group of people, that being Elizabeth and Jesse, who were kicked out and had to escape Quentin at the end of the 2016 volume, you're now working together as a unit. You found each other between those volumes and are now working together to get this done. And then putting it very, very simply, the crux of the story is that Eleanor Simmons, who got you involved in the heist, who got everybody else together, has now mysteriously gone missing. And it's all linked around. You're not in necessarily every episode. I know that you are in at least half of it. But it starts off with people looking for her, and then it gets to your episode, which you appear in the second and the fourth episodes. And this was very much because when we were making it last summer, I believe it was last summer, I think we recorded May or June last year. But
oh my god, May or June last year. Jesus Christ, time flies.
Actually, I'm going to quickly check whilst I'm talking to find out.
Just check, because it might be longer.
I do remember telling you very far in advance. I don't know if you do that. I was like, this is the episode where you have to go full out. Yes, it was recorded between the dates of the 13th of May to the 21st of May 2020. That's when it was recorded.
And then obviously it gets edited in June, roundabouts.
It gets edited in June and released, etc.
It makes me feel like just time. It's not.
That was still the early days. That was still the early days of lockdown. That was when.
That's when we thought it would end.
Put it into context. Face masks weren't necessarily they were a thing, but like they weren't a compulsory thing back then.
In fact, they were shunned upon for like the first few months of lockdown. Like, I remember my mum went out to like wearing a mask, and people would look at her like, "What on earth are you doing?" It's probably because she was Asian, and they were probably a bit mildly racist. But anyway,
but I remember telling you, when even ages before actually writing the script, I'd said to you, there's going to be this story where you've got to pour your heart and soul emotionally into it, because well, I'm not going to say the full story, that would be spoilers, but essentially someone who's for Andrew, he's just been given a new life, because as we've seen him, he first appeared in the first ever audio drama of the Time Traveler anthology era, where he was a hacker as well, but a really bad one, and one of his friends lost. When I say lost their life, they didn't die, but they had to rescind their previous life, leave their family, leave the country, become a new person in order to get away. And thus, Andrew's been in and out of this life, trying to help, but then losing falling back
Everything.
and then trying to come back. Whereas now at this stage, he's in a point where he's found security and stability with Eleanor, and now she's suddenly gone missing, and things are just not working out. People aren't finding her, so he decides, right, I know I'm more of a computer guy, but I've got to go and find her. It's my responsibility. Yeah. And what you find is nothing short of upsetting.
Yeah. You told me to literally go completely all out, like just go raw.
Well, yeah, like
I know,
as if,
well, not
as,
literally
as
like
if,
that, but you know.
Well, yeah, like raw. Oh, hello there, sir. Then, but then, like, it was just a case of this is because this is the final volume of the anthology era, and for those of you who aren't familiar with how the eras of the Time Traveler audios are working. Basically, the anthology era is the audio set within the visual series. The visual series, in terms of its timeline, is set between 2014 to 2017. And I was talking about this actually. I can find it if I find a clip for this podcast. I'll put it in. But there's a clip from my monthly vlog in the summer of 2018 where I told everyone the entire plan. And here we are, nearly 2.5, nearly 3 years later. Finishing.
It is basically 3 years since 2018. Yeah. That's just depressing.
Of course, we were discussing about whether or not we were going to do a continuation from the visual series because it ends on a cliffhanger. And we were obviously, initially I wanted to jump straight into a continuation. But after long thoughts about it, I thought about realistically.
How many series of the original series did you do? Like how many? I know you did twice.
Only did 3. One series, two series, series 1 and 3 had 6 episodes, and then series 2 had 4.
You know, honestly, I think it's quite cool. Like, I mean, it's quite interesting that you're, you know, I think it's cool. It's so cool. I'd love to do this myself. Like at some point where you've written for this series, technically, it's been running technically for 8 years. Like it started in 2014. It's now the final volume, well, not the final volume, but the next.
The final volume set within that original series.
Yeah. So you know that comes out next year. So you know, 2014 to 2022, that's 8 years. You know, like I think that's amazing. You've built this story with all these characters, and while obviously we don't have all the characters of the original series in this audio series, it's still fascinating how you've managed to bring everything together and have a very good payoff. Even though it's been 8 years and most shows dry up after 8 years, you know, but the story keeps on going.
That's because we had a lot of hiatuses. Like originally series 2 was meant to be the last series. We had planned for 3 series. And then when we were making, because again, this was before the days of Waterside and finances and everything for the project. So as a result, after filming the first series, half the cast weren't bothered anymore, which is why so we had actually started filming series 2 very soon after series 1. And then there is actually a video out there somewhere with the original shot scenes that we had to completely cut, and sometimes they got reshot and other times they would just cut completely. But there's a video out there showing what the original series 2 was going to be like. That was meant to be 6 episodes, and then series 3 was going to be 8. But then we tried to end it and cap off the entire story in 4 episodes because we were kind of, it was that whole thing of being done with it and going, half the cast are gone, and we don't know anybody else who can fill those new roles.
Yeah,
so
it's one of those annoying things because like it's especially when it's like doing things for free. Like you'll get people to be a part of it, and they'll be so happy, they'll be sweet. As soon as it's done though, and you ask them to come back, they'll just be like, "Pay me," and then you'll see a different side to them.
In the case of that, it was just people
not caring.
They don't have time anymore, and then not really. It's like their heart wasn't quite in it anymore. Like they were being nice, but they weren't saying, "Oh, I'll be free in a month or 2." Sorry, they were just going, "Sorry, I'm not free," and then just that.
Yeah.
And I was like, they've got no obligation to come back, and that was the issue. But again, we then left it a year afterwards and came back with series 3, which came out 2 years after series 2 in the end. And then we left it until the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, when I started really like, because I had this plan for the Time Travel Audios, but the guy who I originally produced it with, Dave, I hadn't really spoken to him properly until the beginning of 2019. And so at that point, that was 2 years. And then obviously we've been
Do you see yourself ever like bringing back like Time Traveler as a visual series? Not with the same characters, but like, would you ever bring Andrew Pearce?
I have been very tempted recently.
Very tempted just to be like, yes, let's go. Let's just make a visual series. And it just comes out like, what, 2022, 2023? That'd be kind of cool.
No, because I was thinking the problem, the reason why it ended on a third series when we actually had ideas to finish it on series 5. We had more ideas for another 2 series. The reason we did it and didn't do it and cut it off was because half the human race died. And it's kind of impossible to do that with no budget. And
welcome to lockdown. You've got the perfect setting.
And an EMP went off worldwide and wiped out all digital technology. So if you're trying to film on no budget and a car drives by, you have to redo the whole shot again, and you're not got time. It would just be too much logistics. But now with audio, of course, we can do that, and that's something we're going to be doing.
In all honesty, like I do love it. It's just it's one of those things where, like, it's good to play a character, and obviously it comes out over a set of time. But the fact that we made like the 4th volume like last year is just mind-boggling, because it won't come out till next year.
It's way more than that. Time Traveler 2017 is actually the 6th volume. Time Traveler 2017 is the 6th volume, because we did special volumes as well.
Oh God! So when's the final volume that you've already made coming out, and when did we make it?
Well, there isn't a final one.
I'm talking about the end point of the last one that we made.
The last one we made, I'm still in the middle of editing some now, but the last one that you were in was 2017, and obviously you've recorded for one recently, which I've been editing, but that one's obviously current, and then basically you haven't played Andrew Pearce since that date. I said May 2020, and then you recorded in January for the one I'm currently still editing. But it's weird. There'll be more, because basically the way that, because we're no longer in the anthology era, we're talking about continuation here. We've changed the way it works, and obviously I had to really think about how to approach it, because I was trying to think about of it as how Torchwood was, how Big Finish handled Torchwood, even though I still made Time Traveler, how to handle it, bringing it back, and obviously I didn't want to jump.
It's always difficult, because you don't really know if something can work in audio form that's visual, because something's visual because it's visual. Like if you were to if I made a cinematic masterpiece, it wouldn't translate well into audio. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm good enough to make a cinematic masterpiece, but
the example is true. It's a case of it wouldn't quite work. So we had to think about how to introduce a new audience to already pre-existing material. So we've done these anthologies that then lead into and connect to the visual series. And sometimes it may feel like it doesn't really make sense. That's probably part of my worry, is that I'm worried that, your character will do something, and then in the next episode they'll go, bombs have gone off in a building, and you're like, what? Wait, what? But it's actually already happened in a visual story.
Yeah. It's weird, because obviously you have to do a lot of telling. When you're recapping what's already happened, you have to do a lot of telling.
Well, that's something that Big Finish with their Torch would have been trying to do recently. With their monthly range, they've been connecting it. Like there was an episode called Coffee with Yanto Jones, and that's set between multiple Torchwood episodes, but then they're not as on the nose, because it was always a monster of the week kind of theme, and Torchwood is also more well known. whereas with me it's not. So we were a little bit more on the nose with it, but then I worry sometimes, are we too on the nose to a point where someone's like, that was very specific, what's that? And I go and watch this series. And you're like,
I think it's always great to have something where the series mainly is on its own two legs. You know, it's great for a series like that. But if you can throw in a reference, that's fine. But I mean, it's nothing as horrific as my first series of audios, like where there was a reference every single other like minute, and the next like another Doctor would turn up in 5 seconds. You know,
that's what's good about the continuation, is that there is no visual series reference. We've now surpassed that. So you can easily.
So now it generally has to live off itself now.
Well, you can jump into the continuation with if you want. Like, the only problem is, of course, we've now linked. It's not even a problem. I think it's really good. We've got the visual series with all the main characters in, who are actually rarely in the audios, because you've got the visual series, and then you've had the audio characters like yourself. Chelsea has also played Elizabeth. You've had Kat as Lily. You've got Hugo as George, you know, and we've got some visual series characters who appear in the audios, but they're not main characters, and they help influence and give backstory to them in the visual series. But now, of course, as we go into the continuation, they're one and the same now. So you've got Harriet Jackson, who was in the visual series and had one story out of 6 volumes in the audios.
Yeah.
In fact, I think she had 2 actually, but she wasn't the main character. She was more of a cameo kind of thing. But like, if you've only listened to the audios, when she appears in the continuation, which I can say she will, she has so much more of a stronger role, but so much context she knows because of the visual series, not because of the audios. Like, she knows so much now because of the visual. So it's like one of those things where it's like you can just sort of start from the continuation. If you've only watched the visuals, you can start. There's just going to be context for like with your character and Kat's character and Hugo's character and Chelsea's character. We have to find a way of reintroducing you without patronizing the people who stuck with audios.
Yeah,
but also
it's one of those things of like, hey, look, this is a new character.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the way that we've done it is it picks up exactly from the ending of 2017, but in a way that hopefully we are not too patronizing to people who already know your character, but also to the people who haven't listened to the audios before are still able to pick up and go, oh, okay, Andrew Pearce is this guy.
Yeah, you know, like when it comes to like playing that character, I do like it. Like, I mean, I know I joked about being the most human I've ever been the last time when we talked about it one time.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to Andrew Pearce, I do love playing him, and it's great to be in the continuation of the story. And it'd be great one day to do like a visual episode, you know, just to say, hey, look, this is the continuation. It still carry on after COVID. Now we can actually get on and do it. But like, you know, it's great doing this audio series because obviously this series doesn't really end for like quite a while from this point on anyway, so it feels good to be on something that's ongoing, you know.
Yeah, that's also it's not so much a part of the problem, but we did 6 anthology volumes, and we're now sort of looking to the continuation and trying to figure out how many is appropriate because
you could do. I mean, you make a lot of audios, so if you were to release like 2 volumes a year or something like that, then you could probably have in the span of. Well, I mean, the thing is, I do 1 volume a year for the audio series I do. Like, so Limbo has been running since 2019, but it's only 1 volume a year, so we're only at volume 3 this year. It's been a couple of years since. So you could do like, if you do 2 volumes a year, then you could do 4 years, but it'll be 8 volumes. You know, you could do that if you really wanted to.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I will think about that. But nonetheless, Time Traveller 2017, the trailer is coming out on the 15th of May. I know we're talking about this extremely prematurely, but then the first episode will be coming out on the 22nd of May. I'll probably again give a little more of a honourable mention about this on next month's podcast, but of course, due to recent events, we've had to shift these things around. But yeah, I've already played the trailer, I think. So there you go.
Wonderful.
Yes. Of course, John, you play the Cybermen in Uncharted Past Volume 4 as well.
I do. It's very nice.
Yeah, we'll talk about it very, very quickly so that we can say that we sort of mentioned it in time and everything like that, because it's coming out.
Yeah.
It's coming at the trailer, at least Overton Audios trailer is coming out on the 20th of April, but the visual trailer has been out since the 17th of March, I should say, not May.
Doctor, come on. Stop playing around. Wake up, please. Doctor, you're okay?
Who are you?
Doctor, what's going on?
Doctor who?
Overton Audios presents.
There's nothing here apart from this blue box.
You really don't recognize this?
It will hit the Earth within 24 hours.
I need you to be the doctor again, or we will all die.
I'm sorry, kid, but I'm not the doctor. I don't know what to do.
Step away. It just moved.
It's just a metal object.
Do you want me to die?
No, of course not. What makes you say that?
Instructions received.
Why does he sound like that?
Will you want a human father? I want to be that. I need to do right by you. Because that's what fathers do.
Doctor Who Uncharted Past Volume 4, coming daily from the 21st of April to the 24th of April 2021 at 12 p.m. 17th of March, yeah, which of course has revealed that the Cybermen are in it. But there's been a lot of speculation about the story and everything. But I thought, I'd chat to you about it. It's also coming out daily rather than all in one day. So it's starting on the 21st of March and finishes on the 24th. No, I'm getting the dates messed up. It starts on the 21st of April and ends on the 24th of April.
Dear me.
It's the final volume of Uncharted Past. Again, myself and Dan will be sure to have a longer conversation about it next month.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this volume was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I think if you remember how long it took me to make it.
Yeah, it took you months, didn't it? Like what, 2 to 3 months?
Yeah, and it was a frustrating thing. Like I've mentioned in my monthly vlog before, the things that are outstanding for the release schedule for this year have been really frustrating because they're all the volumes that come out in one day. So as a result of Uncharted Past Volume 4 I think it took up to 6 months because actors couldn't record with their own equipment. So Dan and I were sending equipment over to them, like microphones and sending over download links to programs they can use and everything.
Yeah.
And then there were further delays by life and circumstances. And basically, whilst the first episode of Volume 4 may have been edited in May, the final one was in November.
Yeah, it was honestly like, I know you were so just oh my God, why?
I mean, I know it's the final volume. I know it's the final volume and we go all out on it. But still.
Yeah. Although the Cybermen were great.
Yeah, it was like one of those things though, that if it were coming out over the course of a month, then I know it's somewhat worth it because I bought myself a month of time. But no, it was 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, you could just start releasing them weekly again.
Yeah, I don't have time in the schedule now. Everything's set in, but
so packed together.
Yeah, but Dan and I have agreed that if we ever do any Irish Doctor volumes about anything else, we would make it weekly if we ever came to doing it. Because I've just said to him the payoff for these volumes. I'm not really selling it well, but the payoff for these volumes. There's a lot of love and a lot of story that goes into it because only these last 2 volumes have been really close together, but there was a whole year's gap between volumes 2 and 3. and then that's why Dan was doing so
when
many
it comes
specials.
to with this series, it's good. I mean, I enjoyed doing it because I had to do like very Earthshock-esque Cybermen voices,
Yes,
but they were like
okay.
mixed in with like 2005-esque modulation. I did enjoy. I don't know. I love doing Cyberman voices because they sound the least like me. Like when I do Dalek voices, I can hear myself in them, and so I cringe. Especially when I go back to the early stuff, it just sounds like me shouting. But and now it's gotten better. But like even then, I do like doing the Cybermen more simply because they sound the least like me. And I just enjoy it as well. Like when you get to play like, hello there, Cyberman, very evil, you know, like it's just, you know, just very menacing, especially when you get to play the 80s-esque Cybermen, that they have this sense of like, I've bested you, haha. even though they're not meant to have emotion. But, you know, like
I have bested
ha ha ha. It's like that, honestly. They have that sense of mischief of like, haha, I've bested you. But you know, like when it comes to this, honestly, I love doing Cyberman voices. I really want to do some more. So please get writing, Connor.
Oh, very well. Anyway, I think that's all the time we've got on this podcast now.
Yes, it's the end. It's the end, but the moment is prepared for.
Yes, indeed. A side note, if anyone's listened, and this will be a test to see if anybody has listened this far into the podcast, the day of release of this podcast will be my birthday.
Hey!
So
happy birthday for future chatters.
I will learn now. If anybody,
you will learn if anybody can. Yeah, you better wish chatters. You better wish chatters a birthday. You have to put it in the comments. You have to like this video. You have to share it. You have to message chatters that you've watched it. You have to do all of that so we know that you stayed to the end. And if you haven't done that, then we know where your loyalties lie.
No.
We know. Oh dear. But yeah, I'm sure this was great. Thank you so much for having me, co-host. Best wishes to Dan. And
yes, of course.
Yeah.
I will pass those on as well. So yes, thank you everyone for listening, and I will be back in next month's podcast. And thank you.
Yes, and thank you. And I won't be, but you know, I hope you. I'm glad to listen to me. Whoever is listening to me. You probably clicked off as soon as you heard I was here. But anyway, thank you. And goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.